guys, Simphus here. Just woke up, so still kind of out of it. I'm gonna show you guys my first meal that I make. I make it before I work out, so I work out right after meal one. You could have this any time of the day, honestly, but I put more like sugar and stuff in my pre-workouts. So if you don't want the honey, you could substitute berries or something if you don't want all the sugar right in the morning. If you're going to work out later, that's fine too. But the honey does really help. So this is more of like a one of those meals that's going to help get rid of your cravings kind of as well. So I kind of as like a little bit healthier version than eating some junk. Basically, this is all you're going to need. You don't technically need it all. You definitely don't need the salt or the vanilla or the cinnamon, but the rest is pretty necessary. Like I said, you can sub out some things. Like this is going to be like a oatmeal protein cake type of deal. So yeah, it's really easy to make. And here's the cold brew coffee that we've been making lately. It's pretty easy. Starbucks is closed, so you gotta do what you gotta do. I can make a video on showing you how to make that. It'd be like 30 seconds. It's pretty easy actually. So to start things off, I would always use a food scale. I recommend a food scale. You don't have to, but 90 grams already got this weighed out. Put in here. It's like 64 grams of carbs, 5 fat, and like 9 protein or something. Anyways, I put the oats in here, and now everyone has their different style of oats. I usually just do a little bit of water till it's swimming. It doesn't have to be like a crazy amount, just so it's kind of covered in water. I don't like a ton of water where it's like a soup. Like some people like their oatmeal being really runny. I actually think even if you do like that, I would recommend that you do it a little bit less runny than you want, because it'll be better in the cake way that we're going to make. It'll make more sense later. So while that's cooking, I put this pretty low heat. I know that some people do it quicker. I feel like if you do it quick, like a hotter heat, you have to stir it constantly, and then things go, or else it like cakes to the bottom. Obviously, you can use a microwave too, but I don't know if you can tell, but I think it's kind of broken. Now, obviously, the amounts can totally vary. You could use like 40 grams of oats and 1 scoop of protein powder, that kind of thing. The consistencies will change a little bit, but the part that matters a lot more is this part. So if you have a shitty quality protein powder, it might not make as good of like a chocolatey paste type thing that we're going to use. So this is Red X Labs. What is this one called?
Chocolate mousse.
Chocolate mousse. It's really good actually. I'll use about 70 grams of whey. And I found that 70 grams of whey isolate, and if you use like a concentrate or one of the other casein, it'll get much thicker. So this will actually be a little bit runnier than you would get if you had a one of those, but it still works. So I do 70 grams of whey, and then I use almond milk. You can use water as well. I put 50 grams in here, and you actually want to be pretty careful that you don't go over. Like, you can go to like 55 or 48 or something, but I'm telling you, if you accidentally go to 65, it will be a lot more runny than you think. Now, if you use 1 scoop of protein, like 35 grams, you're going to want to do probably like 20-ish grams of water. I would use less and then add a little bit more. So basically, I just put that in a bowl, and I just kind of mix it around and try to turn it into a little bit of a paste. So you're going to actually... It's gonna feel like, oh, it's not actually turning into a paste, it's clumping, but you just got to keep working it in, and the bowl helps a lot. Like the smoother the bowl and the higher the walls, it just turns into like a little bit of a chocolatey paste. So yeah, you basically just kind of mash it in, and yeah, it should end up looking kind of like that. You can do it a little bit. You can do a little bit more that you want. If you want it a little bit runnier, which I don't recommend, you obviously add a little bit more water or almond milk. You can make it a little bit drier, but it gets pretty hard because there's a line between it being like chunky powder and actually churning into this like sludge. So then I just put that right there. Now, when I cook everything, I always add a little bit of salt. Some people probably think that's weird. You do want sodium, so I just add a little bit. You don't even really taste it. Then I'll usually add the cinnamon after, and I'll add the vanilla extract. I just kind of toss a little bit in there. I don't really measure it. I don't think it really matters. Then I just kind of, you know, like if I had it on higher heat, this stuff would all be just cooked to the bottom. So I'll do a couple things and I just mash it up. Get my other bowl. Trim it up a little bit. Obviously, this is one of those meals that like it's gonna be trial and error. The first time you make it, you actually might screw it up a little bit. Like I said, it's better to add a little bit too much, like too little water to both things than it is to overdo it, because you can't really fix more unless you just keep adding oatmeal. And if you're dieting or you have a set amount, that's probably not the greatest thing to do. So I like to have it kind of a balance between it being like not watery but still having a little bit more volume, because obviously the more water you add, yeah. I have another version of this that I make with cream of rice, but it's a little bit different. So I'm actually out of cream of rice right now. That's why I started doing this. So that's pretty much the oatmeal. So all you want to do, take the oatmeal, put it in the bowl. I know this is groundbreaking stuff, really. Oops, and here's how you make a mess. That's the one nice thing about a microwave is you don't have to do this. But I have this theory that it tastes better when you cook it out of a pot, though. I don't know, something about it.
That's because it does.
Yeah, see? I don't know. There's something about the pot, I don't know. It does taste better to me. But, you know, obviously, microwave is way faster. So, this is the part where mine is going to set it a little bit different than some of the other ways you've probably seen. So I take the oatmeal, you know, kind of layer it down here, so it's nothing crazy. Just kind of make it like that, where it's just kind of more flat. Now this is raw honey. Raw honey is way better for you. It's got like antibacterial, it helps with inflammation. It's really good for your immune system. I mean, it's really, if you're gonna buy any honey, raw honey is definitely the best to get. But any honey really is still good for you. It's just, this is, you know, a little bit better. It's not really that expensive either. I think it's a couple more bucks for raw, and so I'll add about 15 to 20 grams here. Keep in mind, I am on a maintenance. I'm not really trying to diet or add weight. I'm just kind of, you know, eating, so I'm kind of maintaining around the same weight. So yeah, that's the raw honey. I mean, you Google the health benefits of raw honey. It's pretty good. Fruit or raw honey, they're both good for you. But like I said, if you wanted to stay fuller for longer, fruit is probably the better option. Honey's going to taste better and probably be a better option for you pre-workout. So when the honey's on there, then I take this, I take a little bit of cinnamon, and kind of just put that on top. And then I take the protein powder and I drizzle it on. Now, this kind of makes it more of like a layer. So you actually, and since you made the protein powder into more of a sludge and it's sitting on top, if you have a good quality or a good tasting protein powder that you like, you'll actually taste the flavor a lot more. So it'll feel like more like you're getting more of a bottom part being like the cake part, and then you get the honey for the sugar, and then you'll get the protein powder on top. Whereas if you mixed it in, I feel like you get more of like kind of a diluted taste. And I'm not a huge fan of the like mixing the protein powder right in to the oatmeal. I actually think this tastes way better. But again, it's all preference, but this is the way I do it. And then I'll just scoop and eat out of this bowl because it's hard to get it all out. But basically, is what it looks like, finished product right there. You take a bite and you kind of got the honey thing, and it tastes just like a little bit like a healthy cake.